Gear up for Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. It's your home on sports all across the state. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now here are your hosts, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Oh, Hunter, you're so lucky you caught that ball. To score the game-winning touchdown with just 1 second left on the clock. That's pretty cool. And you wanted the rematch, and you got the rematch, and you went on, and you earned it. You beat great teams like Florida State, Ohio State, and, of course, your big rival, South Carolina.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness, Trump today at the White House. And no, Gamecock fans. Let me correct you. Clemson did not go to Waffle House today. They went to the White House. Some Gamecock people, I think they're a little confused, thinking the Tigers were having lunch at Waffle House. No, they were at the Big House, not at Michigan, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, to meet with El Presidente. Trump and Dabo and Watson and much of the gang on hand today in D.C. as the Tigers are honored and celebrated for winning the football national championship. What a great time was had by all.
Do you don't think some of the Gamecock fans may be commenting on politics rather when they use the term Waffle House?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they were commenting on politics whatsoever.
Okay. Some I know would have done that.
Possibly. But what a great day. Hey, come on. It's a great day, first and foremost, for those players and coaches. They earned it. It's a great day for Clemson University and a great day for the state of South Carolina. And when Dawn Staley and the USC women's basketball team get their invitation and make their appearance, it'll be a great day for the players and coaches, a great day for the University of South Carolina, and a great day for the state of South Carolina. Now, help me memory. Did Coastal go? I don't think in South Carolina baseball. I guess baseball teams don't get invited.
Apparently not.
I don't recall any of the USC championship teams going.
Here's the deal that really kind of sours me is when you win the national championship, 2 weeks from that day, your behind ought to be in the White House. Not wait till almost the next season to start.
I'm sure that whoever happens to be in the White House at that time has more pressing matters to deal with than,
that's
welcoming
all the time.
teams.
That's all the time.
And I'm sure they got it done as quickly as they could. But anyway, today was the day. We'll let you hear from Trump. We'll let you hear from Dabo. Or should I say we should let you hear from Donald and let you hear from Sweeney. Which one is showing more respect by calling them by their first name or their last name? We'll let you hear from the president and the Clemson Tigers head coach. We'll show them both their due respect here on the program tonight. That's coming up. Also, of course, the baseball regionals, super regionals. Well, they're not done yet because Mother Nature down in Gainesville is not ready to let them finish up. They've already played the completion of a game earlier today, and Wake Forest won in 11 innings, winning in the bottom of the 11th, 8-6, to force the deciding game, which was going on, and now it has been interrupted by rain, and we are waiting for the restart of that. Scoreless, they are in that one, and saw the end of play when they called the players off the field after the bottom of the second in a scoreless game. And the Florida pitcher, Brady Singer, was extremely upset because he had pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, struck out 3, had faced 7 batters. I think his thinking is, I'm not going to be able to come back when this thing looked like a pretty big storm was settling in on Gainesville. And he was thinking, I'm used up. I'm not going to be able to come back. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
I tell you what, Wake, well, I won't say it reminds you of Coastal Carolina, but it would have been really sad for them to lose that game because at one point it was 6-6. Wake had 14 hits, and I forgot how many people left on base.
Mm-hmm.
Florida had 6 runs and only 7 hits and 2 errors. And still it was tied 6-6. But, boy, that bomb that was hit in the bottom of the 11th, I don't know who hit it. But as soon as it hit his bat, Cohen, you knew it was gone.
Yeah. Nothing could be as tortuous as what Coastal Carolina had to go through, however. Right? I mean, when they had their rain delay in Raleigh in that regional, they had to, if I remember correctly, sleep on we were 1 strike away from losing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to sleep on that and then come back and pull it out. That's about as tortuous as you can get. So I'm just checking the Florida baseball Twitter, see if there's been any updates, and not seeing anything yet. Whenever we resume, come on in. They're telling the fans down there, whenever we resume, come on in. Gators battling for a trip to Omaha. So they're just telling people to come on in. Apparently, they're going to open the gates up for any fans who want to come on in when they resume, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear something. There's been nothing tweeted out about a resumption time that I have seen here. So we're waiting on that to be completed. That is the last of the Super Regionals to be determined. The College World Series field is now set. Oregon State is in. Cal State Fullerton is in. How about Florida State? Game 1 against Sam Houston State, they're getting clobbered.
Mm-hmm.
They turned it around, and they won that, and then they blew out Sam Houston to win 2-0. All these supers have been not all of them, but most of them have been sweeps. LSU took care of Mississippi State at home. Texas A&M advanced 2-0 over Davidson. Louisville 2-0 over Kentucky. TCU 2-0 over Missouri State. Well, heck, fire. I guess they were all 2-0 except I'm sorry. Cal State Fullerton won in 3 games. So this only two supers will not be sweeps.
I will say this though, some 2-0s are tougher than you think. For instance,
LSU.
Davidson was so close.
Yeah. Well, LSU, Mississippi State.
Well,
LSU had to rally.
That.
Yeah.
We figured that. But when A&M let Cinderella have that opening with that of what we call a meaningless error, and then they looked up, it was 6-6. I said, it's time. They're going to steal one. And, of course, they just ran out of pitching.
Yeah.
You only have, 2.5 scholarships.
Yeah.
You don't have but maybe 1 or 2 good pitchers. And, boy, they just opened up can after can in that second game. They couldn't find anybody.
It's going to catch up with you. So we're waiting for that to resume. The Major League Baseball draft begins tonight. First pick will be a little bit after 7 o'clock. They're doing 2 rounds tonight and then more tomorrow, and then wrap it up on Wednesday. They do 40 rounds all total in the draft. And, of course, South Carolina and Clemson guys standing by to hear their names called out. Maybe somebody will go tonight. Just looking at the latest mock draft from MLB.com with their experts, Jim Callis and Jonathan Mayo. And they both have the Twins. The Twins have the first pick. They both have the Twins taking Brendan McKay from Louisville. The question with him is pitcher or first baseman?
Which he throws left-handed, right?
Correct.
Pitcher.
Yeah.
Anytime you got a guy that can throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and he's left-handed, pitcher.
They also agree on the next, looks like 3 picks. Notre Dame High School right-hander Hunter Green out of Sherman Oaks, California, to the Reds. He's already been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The Padres taking left-hander Mackenzie Gore out of Whiteville High School in North Carolina. The Rays taking outfielder Royce Lewis from a high school in California. And the Braves taking Keston Hiura, outfielder second baseman from UC Irvine. By the way, did you know that the Braves were the last team in the 2013 draft to pass on Aaron Judge? They had the 31st pick. The Yankees took him at 32. Oh, my. Well, you just can't trust the NCAA official super regional baseball scoreboard for being accurate. It's 1-0 Florida leading Wake Forest. The scoreboard that I am looking at right here says 0-0, second inning. 0-3 and 0 for the Gators, 0-1 and 0 for Wake Forest. However, alertly responded and let me know it's 1-0. Chris, of course, writes for the state newspaper when he's not in China, doing whatever it is he does in China. 1-0 Florida is up. By the way, and we'll get to your calls in a moment, 800-956-7266. That's true. Aaron Judge was sitting right there at 31, and the Braves took a pitcher who's been up a couple of times, but mostly he's been in the minors. And of course, the rest is history. Aaron Judge and the Yankees. Now, look, I am an unabashed Yankee fan, probably the biggest Yankee fan in the world. That was a great weekend. And you can't keep it up. I mean, they beat the Orioles by a combined score of 34-8 in sweeping the series. You're not going to keep that up. But my goodness, what a power display. And the ball just flying out of Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have already hit over 100 homers this season. And Aaron Judge leading the American League in every category that counts towards a Triple Crown as a rookie. Can he keep it up? We'll see. They go out to Anaheim to begin a West Coast road trip tonight, which is back in his neighborhood of Fresno State. But you always these things always come up when a player emerges who wasn't, the first or second pick in the draft. He's picked a little bit later on. Gee, look at all the teams that missed on him. And it just so turns out that it was the Braves who had the 31st pick and the Yankees had the 32nd pick. Oh, yeah.
Well, the favorite one was –
he was a 62nd round pick.
The favorite one was when the Braves had the number 1 pick, or where they had the number 2 pick, and they wanted the pitcher, Todd Van Poppel. He said, I'm not going into the draft. I'm going to stay here, because the Braves that was in '89 when they were a losing team. So the Braves had to pass, and he went ahead and sneaked and got in the draft, and Oakland drafted him. The Braves had to sell for a guy named Larry Jones, chipper.
Oh, yeah. Not
and
bad.
The rest is history.
Sometimes it works out for you. I mean, listen, for guys that weren't taking number 1, that means somebody skipped you and somebody got lucky in all levels of sport. So that's one thing. And then over the weekend, good race yesterday at Pocono. I mean, very exciting finish. The 21 team back in victory lane. That's great to see for the Wood brothers. And Ryan Blaney getting his first win. And I want to say we've had like 10 or 11 different drivers win already this year. They're going to get to 16.
If the fans could latch on to something.
Very exciting.
Say they need a villain. You got to have a villain.
Well, yeah, Kyle Busch he pretty much is the man in black. Hockey. Terrific Stanley Cup final game last night in Nashville. Pittsburgh going back-to-back, winning the Stanley Cup, winning last night 2-0.
I thought that
I
game
flipped
was,
over. I called it quite by mistake. But I watched about the last 5 minutes of the USA-Mexico soccer game in Mexico City.
And you enjoyed it, didn't you?
No. What I'm getting at is I saw more action in 30 seconds of that hockey game that I saw in the last 10 minutes of that soccer game. Here's a soccer game for you. Out of bounds. Throw it in. Kick it. Out of bounds. Throw it in. Shot on goal. 10 yards wide. Throw it in. That's a soccer game.
And here you
hockey
are
is
soccer.
Hockey
people say that
is
about baseball, though.
Hockey is shot after shot and kick save and
that's what you like. You like people get run into the glass,
slammed into the board. It was unbelievable. It was great
but
great excitement.
But let's face it.
But I guess that was good for the Americans to get a tie, right? That helped the Americans in the world. What is it? The World Cup.
The World Cup. Which earlier the year they were in danger of not making it.
Would have crushed me. Would have just crushed me if that would have happened.
Yeah, but here's the thing. the United States.
Is this the year of the World Cup? Are they doing the World Cup this year?
Next summer.
The
Then
United.
why are we worried about it now?
You got to qualify. These are all the qualifiers.
The United States.
A year in advance?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Multiple years in advance.
But
2
the team
years.
that
Starts 2 years
qualifies
in
is going to
advance.
be like old and decrepit and maybe change players and everything.
Yeah, that's something that happens.
But see, the point is, the USA is doing tremendously well. Why? Because the other countries pretty much have their best athletes playing soccer. Could you see LeBron and some of those guys out there on a soccer playing soccer?
Well, I will say that one of the best athletes to ever come through the state of South Carolina was a soccer player at Clemson by the name of Nnamdi Nwakacha. Or was it his brother, Nnamdi Nwakacha? One of the Nwakachas. He looked like George Rogers on the pitch. I mean, that kind of build, that kind of athleticism. Clemson fans will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but if I'm wrong about the Nwakachas, let me know. I know my soccer.
Julio Jones in goal.
Ibrahim. Head coach with the same first and last name,
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Ibrahim. All right, 800-956-7266, complete recruiting wrap up. Another busy weekend with camps and all that. We'll catch you up on what's happening. Let's go to the phones. Lines are open for you. By the way, as we go to the phones, I want to mention that our poll question of the week, I think, is an excellent poll question. It's timely. It's necessary. Who must Ray Tanner hire as USC's new baseball coach, regardless of the cost? Who must he hire? And I've given a bunch of names. Kevin O'Sullivan, Tim Corbin, Monty Lee, Dan McDonald, Jim Schlossnagel, Brian O'Connor, Eric Bakich, Tom Walter. If you have to have their schools next to their names and you don't really know college baseball. If you know, go and vote. Right now, Kevin O'Sullivan, 35% of the vote. Monty Lee at 15% of the vote. We've also given you room to write in. I always enjoy seeing the write-in people. Let's see who've been written in so far.
Keep rolling.
Let's see who. Let me see who've been written in here. How do I find the write-ins on this thing? Let's go to the phones, and I'll got to figure out how to read the write-ins on this thing. Taylor in Florence.
And Lawrence.
Lawrence, I'm sorry. Hey, Taylor, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you guys doing? Phil and Mr. Hayes. Wanted to ask you know of the outcome of the tournament that was held by Muschamp Saturday?
The 7-on-7 tournaments.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll have to look and see. Give me a couple of minutes. Let me look up and see if I can find that information. They did have a 7-on-7 events over the weekend with the Will Muschamp, part of his camps. I understand they had over 2,000.
2,200, I think.
Yeah, over 2,000 prospects come through their camp last week.
In a week?
Hey, look, man.
Is that possible?
Well, it's for the day camp, it's like $20 a person. If you're staying, it's like $120 a person. You add it up, and I'll tell you how it's possible.
Man.
I'll look for that and see if I can find it for
Anybody
you.
in particular you looking for?
Well, he's probably looking for a particular team.
Oh,
See what team might have won the championship. If I can find that, I'll let you know. And thank you for your call. 800-956-7266 is the phone number. By the way, this is the week, Sunday, 4:30 at Fort Dorchester High School in the auditorium. Kerryon Joyner makes his announcement. He's already, of course, been committed to either South Carolina or NC State, going on now maybe a month or so, 6 weeks or so. But he'll make it official, having a little deal at his school on Sunday. And, odds are it's going to be South Carolina. I think we'll all be very surprised if not. And that would be a big pickup for Will Muschamp and Kurt Roper, just in terms of the quality of player and notoriety of in-state status. Back in a moment. Chapman High School. We're told by an onslaught of callers that Chapman High School won the Will Muschamp 7-on-7 this weekend. I mean, I haven't seen it in writing, but I'm taking the word of people that called in to tell us that. So congratulations. That's the school of help me. That's the school of Gamecock receiver Deebo Samuel. Yes. And before that, the school of USC receiver Toby Cates. By the way, we did this on late Friday, so it really wasn't fair. So I'll mention it again. And now, Pro, you can participate. In the movie, The American Sniper, did you see that movie?
No,
with Bradley Cooper?
No,
okay.
I did not.
The movie, see, K-Mac, oh, by the way, K-Mac's not here tonight if you haven't noticed. He always is harping on me about not watching movies. So I happened to watch, I'd seen bits and pieces of The American Sniper. So I watched the whole thing the other night. And, you know, it's a tough movie to watch, but it's a very interesting movie. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. And in one of the last scenes before he is killed at the end of the movie, there's a scene at the bar. He's back.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's a trivia question.
Okay.
He's back in America. He's at a bar, and in the bar, there's a television. And on the television is a basketball game. And in the basketball game, there is somebody going to the foul line. And that somebody is a former Gamecock. In fact, I think it was a USC basketball game that was on. You can see it clear as day if you're paying attention and you zero in. And the question is, you don't know. I want to see if anybody out there who has seen the movie American Sniper can identify the Gamecock basketball player who appears on the television screen in that scene.
Now, here's the question I'll ask you. If you're looking at Bradley Cooper, who I think is a tremendous actor, I liked him in, what was it?
Well, The Wedding Crashers.
Oh, no. I mean, before he even did that, he did a WB show called Jackie and Bobby about a kid who was going to be future president. And he was a law student who was having an affair with his law professor. And he was good in that show. So I knew from the beginning, I said, this is a good young actor. Before he even got in the movies, you could tell.
That's not the point of the question.
No, but my point of my question is, if you're looking at Bradley Cooper as a tremendous actor, how in the world did your eyes go to the screen looking at what player was shooting a free throw?
Because I am South Carolina's premier sportscaster.
Oh, okay. And
I noticed things related to the state of South Carolina. And when I was watching the movie and seeing the screen in the background, I went, and of course, I froze it, backed it up, looked at it again. I said, why in the world would Clint Eastwood use that as the background? Somebody on the set might have been a Gamecock, might have had some sort of South Carolina connection, whatever the case may be. Ooh, I see some breaking news here. Breaking news in recruiting. Looks like Darnell Jeffries has committed to Clemson. Just seeing that coming across. The big defensive lineman from Georgia committing to Clemson. Give you more details on that here in just a moment. 800-956-7266 is our phone number. Email talkback at sportstalksc.com. And on Twitter at SportsTalkSC is how you can reach us. Speaking of the Tigers, it was the day that they visited the White House to meet with the president, Donald Trump. What did the Donald have to say to the Tigers and about the Tigers in welcoming them to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to the White House? Here is the Donald. And we'll get to that in just a moment as soon as our producer tells me it's ready to roll. Be with us here in a moment. It had to be an exciting time for all involved. Just to go through the process of getting into the White House is a trip in and of itself, all the security clearances and that sort of stuff. And then, of course, to walk on the grounds and to go into the White House and go to where he had the team together for the pictures, and he received a Clemson jersey and all that. All right, here is the president, Donald Trump, as he talked to and about the Tigers today.
Hello, everybody. Mr. Governor, how are you? We campaigned long and hard together, right? That worked out well, and you became governor, so nobody complaining. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I'm truly proud to welcome to the White House our college football playoff national champions, the Clemson Tigers. And they look like the real deal, don't they? Congratulations to all of you and to your terrific coach. And you know who that is, right? Do we love him? Dabo Swinney. What a great job. I was with Coach Belichick. He said, this guy's a real coach. That's a pretty good compliment, right? You can't do better than that. Congratulations, Coach. You have many dedicated fans and admirers here today to celebrate your victory, including many distinguished members of Congress, lots of them. I especially want to thank your Governor, Henry McMaster, my friend, my endorser. Don't forget, he endorsed me when it wasn't exactly in vogue to do that. So I remember. Right, Henry? And thank you, Henry, and everybody for joining us today. Clemson Tigers, you gave America an incredible game that will go down in the record books as one of the hardest fought and probably one of the most exciting games ever played. Last second, boom. That's pretty good, Coach. Good job, Coach. All of you played with such tremendous heart and determination. You never, ever gave up. You can never give up in life. And it all paid off. With your grit and resolve, you proved one of the most important truths in life, that success is about how hard you are willing to fight in order to overcome and in order to win. After being down 14-0, I don't think the coach was worried. Were you worried? Yeah, probably a little bit. About a little bit, Coach, maybe. You're down 14-0, almost halfway through the game. Like true Tigers, Clemson roared back, and with the whole nation watching and beyond the nation, Deshaun Watson, going to be a great NFL player, watch. Where's Deshaun? Get over here. Come here. Hey, fellas, is he that good? Tell me. You better believe it. He's going to be fantastic. He passed the ball to Hunter Renfrow. Where's Hunt? Oh, Hunter, you're so lucky you caught that ball. To score the game-winning touchdown with just 1 second left on the clock. That's pretty cool. There was an inspirational finish to a historic season for Clemson. The team willed their victory. You willed it. That was a victory that was willed. Arnold Palmer, they used to say great champion. He would will a victory. Jack Nicklaus, he would will a victory. The great champions tend to do that. This team willed their whole way to victory. You came so incredibly close last year against Alabama. You don't remember that game, Coach, do you? Huh? Well, you'll never forget. Huh? And you wanted the rematch, and you got the rematch, and you went on, and you earned it. You beat great teams like Florida State, Ohio State, and, of course, your big rival, South Carolina. You believed in yourselves, you believed in each other, and you won a championship victory for the ages. It's one of the greatest games I ever watched, actually. People are going to be talking about what you did for a very, very long time. That victory and the great comeback was the product of a vision that began 9 years ago when Coach Swinney assembled a team of assistant coaches who believed in his vision. They recruited great, great players. And together you worked hard, had fun, and turned Clemson football into a winning machine. on and turn Clemson football into a winning machine.
Expecting more swinging dreams. The dance floor and sings. That he don't mean a thing, but we still here playing.
All right, good stuff from the President of the United States. We'll hear from Dabo Swinney coming up. But, you know, politics aside, I mean, I don't care how you feel about politics. This is about sports for those few minutes that Clemson was there. It just has to be a thrill to be at the White House and have the president, whether it's Trump or Obama or whoever it happens to be president at the time.
Lincoln,
whoever it happens
Washington.
to be. It just had to be a great thrill for those kids to have a chance and for that coaching staff to have a chance. The picture that they took was a wonderful picture of the team lined up on the steps with Trump in front, standing next to Dabo and the national championship trophy there, and holding the Trump holding a Clemson jersey #1. Yeah, just great stuff. Just great stuff. I forgot that back in 80, I guess it would have been 82, Danny Ford and the Clemson football team went to the White House And I guess it was that Reagan?
Reagan
Back then.
Mhm.
So we'll wait for the USC women's basketball team to go. That'll be a lot of fun when they get their invite, and I'm sure that'll get done, and they'll get there to visit at some point in time. 800-956-7266. We'll give you the full recruiting in a little bit. I want to get some calls in here. I do want to go back to Darnell Jeffries, who just tweeted out a few minutes ago his commitment to Clemson. Defensive lineman, 6'3", 265 out of Covington, Georgia. This is a guy who saw his recruiting just continue to climb as time went on, as people got a chance to see him in person and evaluate him. USC and Clemson were two. Georgia, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Wake Forest, Auburn, Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami, LSU, Ole Miss, Maryland, Mississippi State, NC State, all of those offers. He had narrowed his list going back several weeks to USC, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Louisville, LSU, Georgia Tech, and Oregon. He made several visits to Clemson, which kind of gave you a feeling the Tigers were in good shape with him. Recently, he also visited Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. And then today, I think he might have been at Clemson today. His pictures indicate, I don't know if his pictures on his Twitter feed are from today or from a previous visit, shows him with his mom and others, and then his release of his statement on committing to the Tigers. So that's another winning pickup for Clemson in recruiting. That gives the Tigers 10 commitments for their 2018 class. They're going to take at least one running back. That'll be 11. They're getting pretty close to being done.
They have less than 20, don't they?
They're maybe less than 15.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, look at the class. Jeffries, Xavier Thomas, Justin Maskell, Josh Belt, Arion Kendrick, Trevor Lawrence, Mike Jones, all of those guys very highly rated. And then you've got Jake Venables, good linebacker from Daniel, son of the Brent Venables. But that's not what he is supposed to be judged by. I mean, he's judged by his own merits, and apparently a very, very good linebacker. Braden Galloway is the sleeper of the group. This is a basketball player who's morphed into a tight end at 6'6", 208, athletic. And then the kicker, B.T. Potter, who's just a kicker, but a kicker with a very strong leg. I shouldn't say just a kicker. I mean, kickers are obviously very important.
Especially
so
when there's 2 seconds left on the clock and they got a 50-yard field.
Yep. So even though the number is small, the talent is long for Clemson in this recruiting class. More recruiting coming up, including we'll update you on what's happening with Brandon Austin and his visit to South Carolina over the weekend, and some other stuff coming your way. The people who have written in other people for the USC baseball job on our poll question, we have a place in there. You can write in some people. You can write in a person. So let's see. We have Carl Childers. I have no idea who that is. Lou Holtz, Captain America, Derek Jeter, Monday morning quarterback Rod Dangerfield, and Landon Powell. Now, some of these, like Monday morning quarterback Rod Dangerfield, that was entered at 4:16 in the morning.
Okay, now we understand.
A little bit on the groggy side.
No Bobby Cox there.
Landon Powell. No Casey Stengel. I saw on our Twitter feed somebody wrote in Casey Stengel, and surprised nobody's written in Joe Torre, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
All right, back to the phones we go. And it's Cody in Charleston. Welcome into Sports Talk. Cody, how are you?
Hey, doing well. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I tell you, this is the second time I've ever called in. And the first time I had to follow Gamecock Larry. And the second time is Donald Trump. So
We're raising the bar. We're raising the bar for you.
I tell you. Well, I was just calling in. I want to try to guess your question. Who was on the TV at the bar?
Yeah. Did you see the movie?
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half, but I don't think I'll forget him. If my memory is correct, it was Ronaldo Balkman.
Exactly right. Now, do you have any idea why they chose that to be in the movie?
Well, I don't know. The only way I remember him is because I was a little kid at the Tennessee game, and I think he went for 38 and 16.
Yeah. I don't know what game that came from,
Mhm.
but it was a South Carolina game, and it's a tight shot of the person going to the foul line, and you're looking, and you go, that's Ronaldo Balkman. What in the world's he doing on the screen?
Interesting.
And it looked like a home game. Did it not look like a home game to you?
Yeah, it did look like colonial life with all the red seats around.
Yeah, there were some red seats back then. And they were wearing the
Yeah.
white home jerseys too.
Yeah,
All right,
shoot
well,
a free
listen,
throw.
I want to tell you by getting our answer correct, we reward you by allowing you to continue to live in Charleston.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
You got it. Thank you very much. I mean, living in Charleston, that's a reward. That's something to strive for.
Unless you're leaving at about 15 to 5 and getting in the rush hour traffic.
Well, that's everywhere. That's everywhere for that matter.
Not like it's Charleston. Though. At least you can turn right or left. Charleston, you turn right or left, you may be in the Atlantic Ocean.
All right. Thank you for your call. 800-956-7266. Now, I can't trust the NCAA scoreboard anymore because it's not accurate to begin with. So, but we did see a shot from the ESPN camera showing raindrops still coming down in Gainesville. So I take it that they're still not playing. To who? Saporian in Spartanburg. Hello, sir, or ma'am, or whatever.
Satorian.
Yes, you. Hmm?
Okay. I just wanted to comment on the. Now Chapman is a 2A school. Is that good or bad that they beat 5A schools in a 7-on-7?
Well, you know what? It
I
tells
don't know.
me it tells me they have some good athletes. You know, it's 7-on-7, so you got a quarterback and you got your receivers going up against basically defensive backs and maybe a linebacker. You know, I haven't gone out to watch 7-on-7.
They've done that for years. Chapman throws the football all over the lot.
Yeah. Do you know the Chapman team? Have you watched them?
Oh yeah. They got the Twitty fellow is a good running back.
Who's their quarterback?
But I don't remember his name. But if I'm not mistaken, they played Dillon in the state championship last year and they beat them. But I would think with all of these large 5A schools and the abundance of kids that they have at those 5, or what is called a 5A level here in South Carolina,
Yeah.
that maybe that shouldn't have happened. Maybe I don't know. That's a head scratcher to me. That's just my opinion.
It depends. All levels play each other in Indiana high school tournaments, and sometimes the lower guys win.
Upsets happen.
Mm-hmm.
Upsets happen, and who knows?
A school like Chapman, that doesn't surprise me. Most of them great athletes
now
gravitate toward football.
I wonder if there's somebody on the Chapman team the Gamecocks want, and they fixed it so Chapman would win. Would they do? Nah,
no,
they would never do that. All right, thank you. Top of the hour, recruiting coming up. Trey Dyson and more. Don't go away. I'm still putting it together.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. I swear, here I am bringing up something that I watched again. There's a series on Showtime by the name of Twin Peaks. Have you watched that? Yeah, me too. I just started last night. I said, I'm going to check this out and see what it's like. It's a little weird, but Jeff Van Gundy looks like the guy in the beginning of Twin Peaks, that old guy who I have no idea what his role is. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. He does.
Jeff Van, it's like a dead guy living. That's what Jeff Van Gundy looks like. He looks like a corpse, a living corpse. He's got a little more color to him.
Well,
But this,
here's the question. If Stan Van Gundy and Jeff Van Gundy stood against them, how long would it take you to figure out that they were brothers? They look nothing
I know,
alike to
they must
me.
have different mothers or different fathers or something because they look nothing alike. All right, let's. Of course, you and I are brothers, Pro, and nobody would be able to tell by looking at us.
Well, they broke the mold when they made me, so I would look like no other person.
Speaking of another brother from a different mother, we welcome in to Sports Talk to talk a little Gamecock baseball, one of the all-time slugging first baseman at USC. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Dr. Kornbluth and Pro. And can I just say that, we're talking about baseball. The introduction before I came on is what should be going on during the dugouts during the games, just to let you know, relaxation, fun, loose, and having a good time. So I'm liking it.
Yes, absolutely. Trey Dyson is with us, of course. Trey knows as much about Gamecock baseball as anybody as a player and observer. He's the analyst on almost all the Gamecock home games for television. So he has watched over the years. And, of course, this past season, the up and down nature of this past season. And I wanted to talk to Trey about what went wrong this year in his eyes and also, put on his thinking cap and design for us the best coach to replace Chad Holbrook at South Carolina. So from afar, from your press box view and watching them, I guess maybe 35, 40 times this year, especially on the offensive side, what did you see that was a problem?
Well, the lack of an approach was a problem. In baseball, hitting a baseball is pretty hard. All you really got to do is go out to a batting practice one day, and sure, you'll see guys hit a lot of home runs. But guess what else you'll see? You'll see guys getting themselves out. Against 50-mile-an-hour BP pitching. It's really difficult to get a lot of base hits in baseball. And so that's why an approach is so key. Having an approach, as opposed to what it looked like we would do is just kind of go up there, look for a ball, that we could put a bat on. And far too often just they were missing they were fouling off pitches they should be driving. They were taking pitches they should have been hitting and swinging at pitches, that were balls. And that continually happens whenever you don't have a plan. You don't know, what your plan is before you go up to the plate.
How do you fix that?
Well, you work with them and you work with what approach is. Anyone can say, hey, let's have a great middle away approach. In other words, that's a very common thing you'll hear on the baseball field. And what that basically means is, most pitchers like to pitch away because they don't want guys pulling home runs. So hitters, likewise, will work on staying on the ball, thinking about driving the ball back up the middle, and, taking anything on the inner half, kind of giving it to the pitcher. That's an approach, and that's a common approach that most people take. But once again, you can say that all you want to, but if you don't focus on it and drill it into their heads on a daily basis, whatever your approach may be, then, you're not going to get, positive results. So, for example, let's say you have a middle away approach. That means the hitter, when he goes up to the plate, he's looking for something middle away. Basically, you're eliminating the inner half. So if a pitch comes out of a pitcher's hand and it's over that inner third, you automatically know you're taking it because you're not looking for a ball in that window. And you have to be fully committed to it, or else you'll end up swinging at that pitch in that window. And that means you're trying to cover too much of the plate. It becomes too difficult. You end up getting yourself out. And I don't know if I'm explaining it well or not. But
No, you are.
So, and then, certain pitchers have different tendencies. It would be dumb to look for something middle away if you're a right-handed batter and you're facing a right-handed seeker pitcher who misses arm side consistently, meaning the ball's going to most likely be barreling, middle to in to that right-handed batter. You got to let your eyes help you. You got to work on an approach. Your guys have got to be prepared for it so that when so that you can make adjustments during the game and even during at bats.
When you looked at this USC team in the preseason, and by the way, Carlos Cortez was named a freshman All-American today by the Writers Association, but they ended up with nobody hitting over 300. Jacob Olson was the leading hitter at 294, Cortez 286, and on down it went. Tolbert 284, 282 for Bryde. Then it really dropped off. Hopkins and Destino and Stokes. So that has to surprise you. I mean, did this team in the preseason have the looks of a much better offensive team?
Like I've told people this, they might think I'm blowing smoke, but I would take the Gamecocks from a potential and a talent standpoint. I would put them up there with Kentucky. I mean, honestly, most people laugh at that, but they have the potential. All you got to do is go watch them take batting practice. They have the potential, and yes, it shocked me to see the results, but it also didn't shock me as well because I saw all of their at-bats, and I saw them failing to make adjustments and really just kind of doing the same thing over and over again and continually getting themselves out. Another thing, too, that we really struggled with is whenever you've got, bases loaded or runners on base, you're in control at that point. The pressure is on the pitcher. The pressure is on the defense. We took the pressure off so many times, either by, sacrifice bunting and not getting the bunt down or, one of those things, or either our hitters looked to me like they were just, kind of thinking that the pressure was on them as opposed to the other way around. Once again, that's mindset and that's being prepared, knowing, hey, whenever the pressure's on the pitcher, guess what he does? He makes mistakes right down the heart of the plate. You got to be ready to hit it and not be surprised when it comes in there. And to me, I felt like we got ourselves out way too often, especially with runners on base. And, once again, I think that's more of a mindset thing than anything else because these guys are more than talented enough to do the job.
All right. And the purpose here is not to kick dirt on the previous staff by any means, but do you point to something missing in the coaching circle there? Maybe they needed a full-time hitting instructor, or when Busher was let go, did it get away then? What would you point to? Well,
first off, I'm certainly not trying to kick dirt, just making observations from what I saw.
Yeah.
And also, congrats to Carlos Cortez. That guy's a freak. Jacob Olson, he's going to be a great player. They got plenty of great players. But I mean, maybe they did have a different philosophy than mine. And based on what I saw, it just didn't look like they had an approach I had ever really seen before. So I can't say that, it couldn't turn around, next year with the same exact staff. But from what I saw in my experience, it just did not look like they had an approach. And me thinking I'm obviously pretty smart at baseball,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, and I work with some guys from time to time, some college kids, and I think it's really easy. They're not far off. The adjustments are simple, and the sky's the limit for them if they get the right approach up there because they have all the talent in the world.
All right, hang on. I'm going to hit a break and come back with you for a couple more minutes. Want to get your model for the perfect next coach at South Carolina that can take the Gamecocks back to where the fans want them to be. Trey Dyson with us. Back in a moment. All right, we're back with you. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Phil Kornbluth, Professor Tom Hayes, visiting with Trey Dyson for a few more minutes. And I was just looking just to refresh myself about your greatness, even though you're probably the second most famous Dyson to come through a USC baseball behind Sam. However, you still hold the record for most games played in a season. You're tied for that with 75. You're among the all-time leading home run hitters at USC with 33. In the great year of 2002, you batted .268 with 18 home runs and 63 RBIs, but that paled in comparison to Yaron Peters. 377, 29 homers, 95 RBIs, and only 37 strikeouts.
The Hebrew Hammer, the SEC Player of the Year. He was phenomenal.
You know who gave him that You know who gave him that nickname?
What, are you going to take credit for that?
Absolutely, the Kosher Cock.
Oh, good for you.
The Kosher Cock, the Hebrew Hammer.
I didn't know that you called him that, but
absolutely,
that doesn't surprise me because you are brilliant as well, sir. So thank you for the kind words.
Now, my question is, in reviewing your history, because I don't remember what happened you had a good year in 2000. You batted .314. You played in 49 games, had 11 homers, 51 RBIs. The next year, 2000, were you hurt?
No, I just had a terrible year.
2001. I'm sorry, 2001.
Yeah, I was clueless at the plate. Really had no clue, and that's why I think I kind of can bring a different perspective than like a Drew Meyer. I've had my ups and downs, or like a John Jones would be a perfect example. John Jones lit the world on fire last year, and what did he all of a sudden just become a bad baseball player? And to me, the answer is no. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to for my ideal coach is someone who can, help a kid make the adjustment and not see the same, struggles. For someone who's, got a lot of talent, it should be, something where you can, in my opinion, you should be able to correct it and help that kid thrive as opposed to, stay on a 1.5 year long slump. But yeah, I was terrible my junior year, no doubt about it. But guess what? Coach Tanner recruited so well that it didn't matter because we just plugged in somebody else who probably dropped about 20 home runs or so.
And you bounced back. To your credit, you didn't cave. You bounced back.
Yeah, I did. We had the thing I'm most proud of from my South Carolina career is the selflessness that our guys showed, and it wasn't about stats. It wasn't about anything. It was about doing whatever it took to win a game. And I think one year we won 56 games, another year we won 57 games, and it's about attitude and mindset and believing that you're going to win every single game. And we had that, and Coach Tanner was obviously a big reason for that. And it can certainly happen again, and it can happen again with the group that's on campus right now.
All right, let me drop this in before I ask you the next question. NCAA's announced the Saturday World Series schedule. Fullerton and Oregon State will be at 3. Florida State and LSU will be at 8. For the first time in going back to, I guess, the end of the June Reigns era, there's a baseball coaching search going on at USC. So what is the model in your mind? Not the name. There's a lot of big names out there, but what's the model in your mind that's going to work best at South Carolina?
Well, I want someone obviously who's very energetic and enthusiastic and who, shows a love for the game, doesn't take it, quite so seriously. Obviously takes it very seriously, but isn't, really tight over there with, in the dugout with the guys. Someone that holds them accountable, someone who's decisive with their actions, and that they don't need a chart to determine how to make a decision. They can make decisions because they know the game that well. They don't need to second guess themselves. Obviously a hard worker, a tireless worker, someone who's going to do everything they can for the program, someone who's going to get the crowd involved and make the crowd important and show them how much, they love the crowd. Brian Jeffcoat, a great buddy of mine, was telling me, he talked to Skip Bertman one time, and he was talking to him, and Yeah, I think he may have overheard the conversation, but Skip Bertman was talking to someone, and he asked somebody a question. He goes, "You want to know why I was such a great coach?" And the person's like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I know what the coffee tasted like up there." And he pointed to the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You got to get the crowd on your side. The crowd can play such a vital role, especially in these SEC games. You got to have their support, and then of course you got to have the skills to do the job on the field. As the game's getting younger, people are starting to, use advanced analytics to make better informed decisions. And, I'm hoping the new coach isn't afraid to take on what others may perceive as risk, but that he knows is the less risky play by putting, fielders in better positions and, calling the right plays. I was watching the TCU game yesterday. Obviously, that coach is very successful. I heard that during the game that they laid down their third sacrifice bunt of the season. The third. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's different ways.
Yeah.
It's all about your identity, but you don't have to go by the book just because the book says you got to do something.
Have you seen somebody watching the games in the super regionals? Is there somebody that you watched coach that you thought to yourself and is available, somebody that can be had? Did you see somebody that you said that's the guy South Carolina should get?
Well, personally, I'm a lot different than a lot of people. I have a love affair with the Kentucky head coach. They were 2-0 in the World Series or in the Super Regional against a great Louisville team, another talented head coach and Coach McDonald. But with the first year at Kentucky, same players, that they had last year, great attitude, energy, takes Kentucky to the Super Regional for the first time in their history. I don't know if you've done any research on him, but that's the attitude that I want in the next head coach.
And what is that attitude?
It's someone who loves Kentucky baseball. He breathes it. He thinks about others before himself. Anytime he does an interview, it's never about him. It's about everyone except for him. And he's got there's a great video up of Marcus Carson, their center fielder this year. If you get a chance, check it out. It's like on a Facebook post, but you can tell how much he genuinely cares about the program and his players if you watch that one video about him talking about Marcus Carson in a post-game interview.
Yeah, I think he started at Kentucky, left, and this is his second bite at the apple as Kentucky, but he's the head guy. So it's almost like he thanks Kentucky for his chance to get into big-time baseball. And then he probably was sitting there thinking, what would I do if I ever got this job? And now he has it. Trey, I wanted to ask you, it's interesting where people think about an established coach somewhere else versus a tremendously energetic young guy looking to in his 30s, maybe looking to cut his teeth, and that job is sitting there. And obviously, I think the albatross is on whoever gets this job, that you're not going to be replacing the legend. You're going to be replacing the guy who replaced the legend. So what do you look for as a guy who's established or a guy who has tremendous credentials where he's been in his young career and can take over this program? What do you see?
Well, personally, Pro, I like the Mingione hire at Kentucky, an assistant coach who got the job. But I'm sure Coach Tanner's going to go with a more seasoned veteran coach, and you certainly can't blame him. You can't blame anyone for hiring someone who's shown a great track record of success somewhere else. So I think that's what he'll end up doing, and I'll certainly be supportive of whoever he brings in, just like I was of Coach Holbrook. And whoever they are, you better get down here, get to work right away. I got your back if you need me. The goal is Omaha. We're not going to stop till we get back.
Trey, thank you so much, my friend. Keep in touch. Look forward to talking to you and seeing you soon. And I'm going to go back and read some more of your statistics tonight when I'm alone in bed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you might want to refrain from doing that, Phil. But thank you so much for having me on.
See you later. Bye-bye. Thanks again to Trey Dyson for being with us here. All right, the baseball draft underway. All right, so McKay from Louisville, according to reports, declined the offer the Twins had put on the table for him. So the Twins took Royce Lewis, shortstop outfielder from San Juan Capistrano, California, number 1. The Reds took Hunter Green, the right-handed pitcher, Sherman Oaks, California, Notre Dame High School. The Padres took left-hander Mackenzie Gore out of Whiteville, North Carolina. Boy, Whiteville, that is a high school that has always produced terrific baseball players, and that's the home of Chester McLaughlin. A lot of big-time football players have come out of Whiteville as well. So those are the first 3 players taken in the draft. And so McKay and Wright and the others wait. They're probably not going to have to wait too long. I guess we're still not underway in Gainesville. They have not resumed yet. Am I correct in saying that? I'm not seeing anything to indicate that. Check that for me, if you would. And
might be a long night. Better
going to go ahead and give you the recruiting report.
better fix
for
a
now.
pot of coffee if you're in Gainesville.
Absolutely. All right. Again, defensive lineman Darnell Jeffries. What time?
Got an 18:15 start, assuming the weather clears up.
8:15. Okay, 8:15 in Gainesville. All right. Defensive lineman Darnell Jeffries, Covington, Georgia. Today, he announced that on Twitter. Offensive lineman Jerome Carvin. He's the 10th commitment for the Tigers, by the way. And we talked about him earlier. Offensive lineman Jerome Carvin of Cordova, Tennessee, released his top 10. USC is in it with Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Memphis, Michigan, Mississippi State, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Offensive lineman Wyatt Campbell of Lugoff Elgin will have his decision this week. He goes to Clemson Wednesday. He was at Virginia Tech yesterday, USC on Friday. He says he has a favorite, just doesn't want to disclose it. Defensive back Isaac Taylor Stewart of San Diego said at the Rivals event Sunday in Indianapolis, he plans to visit USC, also Ohio State, Michigan, LSU, and Oklahoma. Offensive lineman Jamari Sawyer of Atlanta plans to be at Clemson Tuesday per Rivals. Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Stanford on his short list. 2019 athlete Aiden Robbins of Louisville plans to visit USC here in the not-too-distant future. 2018 defensive end Michael Lewis of Jonesboro, Tennessee, 6'6", 235, was at USC Saturday, worked out for Will Muschamp. And they're supposed to let him know something maybe today on a possible offer. He said they loved his size and his motor. Other offers, or his offers right now, include Army, Navy, Colorado State, Austin Peay, and Liberty. Plans to visit Colorado State in July. USC offered 2019 running back Michael Dukes of First Baptist. He's also a basketball prospect. And 2020 offensive lineman Tate Ratledge of Rome, Georgia. And defensive lineman Jordan Davis of Memphis, an Alabama commitment. And 2019 defensive lineman Fa'atui Tuateli of Honolulu. And 2020 offensive lineman Bryn Tucker of Knoxville. All getting USC offers over the weekend. South Point linebacker Eli Adams committed to Virginia Tech. USC will early offer. Gamecocks had not been in touch with him in the last couple of months. Clemson target, defensive end Taylor Upshaw, Bradenton, Florida, committed to Florida. Dutch Fork wide receiver Bryce Thompson decommitted from Virginia Tech. He had been committed to the Hokies for nearly a year. He attended a USC camp last week, and the Gamecocks have offered. He also has offers from NC State, Colorado State, Georgia State, East Carolina, Middle Tennessee State. Dillon linebacker Zarion Hayes committed to Appalachian State. Greer, defensive back Quavian White, was offered by Appalachian State. We'll get to that in a minute. That's a little baseball. Also in football, former Auburn defensive end Antoine Jackson, half-brother of USC linebacker Bryson Allen Williams, saw his appeal to Auburn to lift restrictions on his transfer denied. He redshirted last season with the Tigers. He's blocked Auburn from transferring to any other SEC school, as well as Clemson, Ohio State, Mercer, and Georgia Southern. USC was one of the SEC schools Jackson was highly interested in, but now he'll have to take the JUCO route if he wants to land there or anywhere else in the SEC. His mother told us he is vetting some JUCOs in Mississippi. He does not want to sit out another year after redshirting last year. Should know something in the first week of July. And they are acting on their own. The SEC restrictions prevent them from talking to any SEC schools, so nobody is working with them to place them in a JUCO. Asked the reason Auburn gave for blocking her son from being able to go elsewhere in the SEC or to those other schools, she said they didn't give a reason. She said it seems pretty petty since Antoine requested the transfer. She said it seems like 1 year of punishment should be enough. She's thinking of his redshirt years, a year of punishment. So we'll see what happens with that. Now basketball. Busy day for Frank Martin at USC yesterday. 6'5" Lehigh transfer Brandon Alston finished up his official visit last night without finalizing a decision. Drove in with his parents from the home in Northern Virginia to meet with Martin and the staff and check out the program. He said he liked everything. Everything was top-notch, people, facilities. He said Martin likes him because he's a versatile big guard. He has experience. He likes Martin, thinks he's one of the top coaches in the business. He also drew offers from LSU, East Carolina, UMass, Pacific, and Georgia Tech after announcing his transfer plans. I'm not aware of any other visits that he has taken. He said he'll have a decision tomorrow. Did not give us a short list or anything like that. Also, 6'11", 2019 prospect Malcolm Wilson of Ridgeview made an unofficial to USC yesterday. He already has an offer from Clemson, and he visited there last week. Sunday, a chance for him to get over to see Martin and USC, and they offered him. He likes Martin, says he's a very straightforward and sincere guy. He'd met him several years ago at church, and Martin remembered that. And so he said he's been watching him, and he's thrilled by the offer. And it's a good fit for him, he said. And, of course, being the hometown team and his mom, who went to USC, he said that's also a plus. And he also has offers from South Carolina State and Hampton at this point. And, of course, he's likely to land other big offers as they go through the summer. And in baseball, Kyle Wright to the Braves. Is that right? No
Breaking
pun
news
intended.
right there.
Yeah. Okay. And in baseball, a couple of 2020 commitments for Clemson. Infielder Ty Olenchuk of Dutch Fork and outfielder Alex Urban of River Bluff. A couple of guys right in South Carolina's backyard committing to Clemson. I don't know if it makes a difference. I'm wondering if the Tigers are taking advantage of USC being without a head coach right now and plucking guys from right USC's back door. But that is, of course, for the 2020 class, so there's a long way to go until those guys would sign. There you go with recruiting. Check it out on our website, sportstalksc.com, and on Twitter, use the hashtag #STRecruiting.
Now, you talked about the Austin kid. You say he's from Northern Virginia?
Correct, Amundo.
That would probably make me figure that he has some prior knowledge to Bruce Shingler.
Yes. Yeah, we had mentioned earlier that Shingler, he knew Shingler. He also knew
from
the other assistant coach.
Perry Clark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perry Clark.
Yeah,
recruits
Perry
that
did
area.
do a lot of recruiting for Georgia Tech in that area back in the day.
All right, updating the draft. You're saying the Braves took Kyle Wright?
Yep.
That's
Terrific picture from Vanderbilt. Okay. God, the draft trackers here are just terrible. MLB.com, I'm very disappointed in you. You still have not updated. You still have the Twins on the clock with your draft tracker. What is up with that? Well, maybe I don't know how to do draft trackers. But I'll be darned if I can find a draft tracker that's working to keep up with the baseball draft. So the guy from Louisville went 4th to Tampa, McKay.
After turning down Minnesota's offer, I don't know how that works.
I guess Tampa's going to – but I thought you were slotted as a rookie. I was looking at the position-by-position payment. I guess you're talking bonus money. Maybe it's the bonus money that he turned down. And then the Braves going 5th took Wright. Some other college baseball notes here coming from D1 Baseball, Kendall Rogers and Aaron Fitt. Oklahoma has fired their coach, Pete Hughes, or he's resigned after a regional berth. It just says parting ways.
I wonder if his AD tried to talk him out of it.
That's a good question. You have to ask him. I don't know.
How many times do we ask him?
Michigan until he answers, baby. Michigan's pitching coach, Sean Kinney, will be the new pitching coach at Georgia. Interesting. Is that an indicator that Bakich is leaving and coming to South Carolina, possibly? Virginia Tech didn't realize they were looking for a coach, has hired the Maryland coach, John Sheffus.
Well, Sheffus will be the second coach they've lost in, the last 5 or 6 years, because that's where Bakich came from.
And how about Oklahoma now? They don't have a baseball coach. They don't have a football. Well, they do have a football coach. I'm sorry.
Well, the way their softball is doing, they might want to hire a softball coach.
All right, let's go back to D.C. Let's go back to Washington. Let's go back to Dabo's house, the White House, the house that Dabo built, at least for today, where he, I don't know if you saw this on the video, but he actually pushed Trump aside to get in the picture, to get him over to the side. That's
what he did.
See, that's fun. That's humor. That's my political humor there, going back to when Trump apparently
bumped the guy,
pushed the guy away at the whatever meeting that was, the G9 conference, whatever that was. Anyway, what does Dabo say here? I can lead into it.
It's an honor to be in that position.
It's an honor to be in what position? Oh, to be. All right. So here's Dabo from earlier today at the White House, being Dabo and talking about being there with the leader of the free world.
Such an honor to be a part of such a special tradition, a special and unique tradition where the White House and the president honor the champions. And that's exactly what these guys are. They're the champions. Let's give them a hand. I really thought we were going to be here last year. I really did. But we came up a little short. And but I am so thankful and glad that my players and my staff has had the opportunity to experience what I got a chance to experience as a player, as a part of the Alabama National Championship team in 1992. I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to tour the White House and see all the great history and to just experience this great day. So thank you so much. I appreciate everyone involved. I know there's a lot of logistics that makes something like this happen, from the Secret Service to all of our folks at Clemson to all the White House staff, and what a special day it's been. So thank you so much for the opportunity. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, in a race, everybody runs, but only one wins first prize. So run your race in such a way as to win. And that's exactly what this team did. That's exactly what this team epitomized. They did that with great leadership, belief, accountability, heart, genuine love and appreciation for one another, and they did it with great chemistry. This was a team that bought into one of our core values. I believe it was George Washington Carver. You do the common things in life in an uncommon way, you will command the attention of the world. Years ago, I had a group of young men come together that bought into that very core value. It's not the big things, it's the little things. We're going to do the common things in an uncommon way. And when we do that, we will command the attention of the world. And this group of young men behind me, that's exactly what they did. Yeah, we got good players and good coaches, but they did the little things better than everyone else. And to stand here and have the opportunity like we have today is a great credit to this team and what they did starting last year. So it's great to be back together, getting a chance to reminisce with some of these guys that I haven't seen for a little while. Appreciate Mr. McNair for getting a couple of our players here. But it's great to be back together one more time. And I want to make a message really to our players, because this is a special moment. You know, back in January, that was an incredible moment. What a moment. January 9th, into the 10th, actually. What an incredible moment that was. And then I had a chance to see a lot of these guys put those caps and gowns on and become graduates of Clemson University. What a special moment. Some of them have already taken jobs, getting their first paycheck. Special moment. Some of these guys have signed with NFL teams. What a special moment. Being here at the White House as the nation's champion, what a special moment.
Okay, Dabo from up in D.C. today. And, boy, he was in his element. I mean, the home of world politics, the home of long speeches.
Don't do it, Dabo.
What's that? What?
Don't go into politics. Don't.
I don't think he has any plans on that. The man plans to win some more football championships.
Sometimes it finds you.
At Clinton, yeah. But I think he plans on winning some more football championships in his time at Clemson or wherever his time leads him. But good stuff from up in D.C. And we thank the United States government for providing us with that audio.
That was a little tricky getting some of those guys who just came off OTAs who are now in the NFL and getting them all in that.
Well, that's to their
spot.
credit that they wanted to show up and they took it for what it's worth. You put aside your political beliefs and whatever and go for what and Dabo made this comment, I think on a show in North Carolina last week. I mean, it's not about politics when you go visit the White House. To be honored for winning a national championship, or if you're a professional team and you go to the White House to be honored, I mean, do what you want. But, I mean, it's about being part of your team and receiving an honor from the top of your government. And that's what it should be about. You know, there's 364 more days out of the year that you can worry about politics. Just take that one day, set it aside, and enjoy the moment. You know, for those kids, those Clemson players who were there, it's never going to happen again as far as with the Clemson Tigers, you know.
With that particular group.
Unless there's maybe if Hunter Renfrow, they win another championship, he might get another return. But, I mean, what's the chances of Clemson winning another championship in the next 2 or 3 years?
How many teams are there in it? They've got a pretty good chance.
Well, I'm sure when the hair gets there in 2018, I mean, the Clemson
they're not
fans,
waiting for the hair.
Well, I don't know that they're going to get it done this year again. I just don't see it. I mean, offensively, I just don't see. And we'll see what happens against Auburn. That's going to be the litmus test for the quarterback, whoever it happens to be at that particular time. If they beat Auburn at Clemson and they shine on offense, I might change my entire opinion, and I have a right to do that.
Well, you would hope they shine just enough, because the thing that gets you about young players, and they'll have some youngsters in there. If they have too much success too early, they may kind of rest on their laurels, even though Dabo will ease them. So you want them to have success and win the football game, but don't look too spectacular doing it. But, yeah, every year is different. Number 4 isn't there, but that doesn't mean they still can't win it. With a different kind of attitude, maybe more concentration with the running game and a staunch defense.
Well, look what happened to Ohio State the year after they won the national championship and they had all that quarterback talent. They kind of flamed out. So, all right, that'll do it. That'll do it. Have a great night. Thank you, Jarmart. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Too many cooks.